Okay, so the next problem we're going to solve is, let me demonstrate. As the player moves around the world and encounters objects, we'll see that the distance of where he's blocked is actually quite far from the object. So we go over to this rock, see that there's quite a gap between those, so we want to fix that. And the way we do that is by, we're going to be editing this object sprites. So we go into sprites, and under outdoor objects, we're going to bring up the sprite editor. And then there's a mode in the sprite editor called custom physics shape. So if we going to expand, or zoom in rather, on these objects. This outline tolerance is sort of determines how many handles you get around the object. So when I click generate, I move this all the way up to 1 and click generate. You say I have a lot more handles to control the collider around that. So I'm going to just put it in the middle. Redo generate, that seems good enough. So now this process is for each one of these sprites to kind of get a better fit, doesn't have to be perfect, better fit around the object of these colliders. And then when you're done, we're going to click apply. So I'm going to go through that, and you should go through the same exercise. And we should have a better fit between, no gap between the player and objects in our world. So I'll be back in 1 second. Okay, so quickly went through these objects. I didn't bother with these green bushes down here. You can see as I click on each one, I have a much tighter periphery around these objects for the colliders. So I'm going to apply X out of that, and now when I run the game, actually first I have to go to the tile map, so select the tile map layer, trees and rocks, and on the collider, the settings bit, we need to select that and then do a reset. And now if we play our game, it should be slightly closer, less of a gap, and this is looking much better. Now one thing we also have to check is, let's just double check the collider on the player. So selecting the player object, let's just zoom in on the player and look at his collider. Edit collider. That doesn't look too bad. Maybe we'll make it a little tighter. I think a box is fine. So make that a bit tighter. Okay, now let's play. Just navigate around a little bit and verify that, hey, we have a little bit tighter fit, less of a gap between the player and the objects. Like I said, I didn't do the bushes. I'm not going to spend more time on that. But around these objects, a little bit more realistic. Okay. Save the game. Okay, finally, we want to sort of fix the way the water layer is done. In particular, we want to create a water layer so that the player does not enter the water. That's our decision of how we want the game to behave. So I'm going to do it a little bit differently than the author suggests. I'm going to actually copy layer ground. So Control D will duplicate it. And then I'm going to select here in the inspector, change the name to layer water. And then when I go into my tile palette, first for layer ground, I want to remove all of the water tiles that are on the ground layer, because I'm going to be using the water layer for that. So I'm going to select the eraser, make sure the active tile map is layer ground, and I'm going to start erasing those tiles. Okay, so this is what layer ground looks like after I've removed the water tiles. So I will now turn layer ground off, and I will turn layer water on. Go back to the tile palette, and now I want to leave the water but erase the ground tiles from the water layer. And I'll be back after that is done. Okay, so that is what our water layer looks like once I've erased all of the layer ground tiles. Okay, so other things we need to do for layer water: remove the polygon collider, and we want to add a tile map collider. Oops, tile map collider 2D. And we also want to add composite collider 2D. And the rigid body 2D that was added, make sure we set that to static. Water doesn't move. And finally, tile map collider 2D we want to check, use by composite. Okay, so now when we run our game, the player should no longer be able to enter the water. Let's see. All right, great. So now the player cannot enter the water, and he's also blocked by these objects. Now these other water obstacles, he's passing through. I'm not really going to worry about that for now. Save my game. And that should do it for Chapter 4, World Building. See you in the next video.